Hey, what is up? How are you? I'm Mel, and this is my 14th attempt to film my 2022 inventory and my 2023 makeup library. I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to get through this. Next up is 6-pan palettes. So if you hear dog barking or other nonsense, it's New Year's Eve. What can I say? Things are crazy around here, and I'm just trying to get this done. So I want to go ahead into my 6-pans, and let's start with the oldest 6-pan palette in front of me. And that would be this palette right here. This is the Lorac x Rachel Zoe Hollywood Glamour mini palette. There were 2 or 3 iterations of this. I only liked Effortless Glamour. The other one I think had some green. And you may have this palette and wonder why the lower right shade is different. I'm going to show you. So I popped out the glitter shade. And this palette is oddly kind of funny. It's magnetic. And I have the Soft Taupe eyeshadow from Lorac. And I bought it as a single and was so excited because it fits. And so now I have really a perfect 6-pan palette. I used this 3 times in 2022. I don't even know how many times in 2018 when I bought it, 2019, 2020, and 2021. It has traveled with me all over and just is such a great travel-friendly palette. So this is staying and will be traveling with me more this year. Pretty much just keep it for travel. I know I can get like a really good, sultry, glamorous look easily out of that palette, or a daytime look. So, because I can get day or night, I really love it. So, and my first one right here is Viva Havana. I love the Art Deco packaging, the kind of rusty orange shade. And this was a gift from a friend because I had never tried Lise Wattier, and there were some American brands she had never tried. She's in Canada, so she sent this to me. I sent her a bunch of American stuff. And so we did a trade. It was really fun. I'm going to keep this. It's great. It has one matte shade that's cream, one that's burgundy, and then you have the 4 shimmers in green, champagne kind of a shade, sort of a goldy, you can see this is a kind of a bronze, not oil rub bronze, but like a bronzy sort of a shade. Not really copper, not really gold, but more on that coppery side of things. It's actually almost identical in color to a million other copper shades, but this brown is what is special. I love this dark blackened brown, and it's a satin, and it's just beautiful. And it's really unusual to find a dark satin like that. Performs beautifully, made in Canada. Love that little palette. It's sticking around. This one is the Mothership Subliminal Platinum Bronze. She did these like 6-pan smaller versions of things, and when I went and ordered some other things from the Pat McGrath website, they inadvertently sent this to me and for free. I contacted them when it arrived and was like, hey, I feel badly to receive something that I didn't pay for. Will you let me just go ahead and pay you for it? And they wouldn't even answer my email. Isn't that crazy? This is going on my chopping block because I like it. It's beautiful, but I never remember to use it, even though it's totally shades that I like. And so, yeah, it just needs to go on the chopping block simply because it either needs to get used or it needs to get gone. I've used it 5 times. It was free. It can take up space. It's not hurting anything, but it doesn't need to take up space either. That's my chopping block back there. Next palette is this Buxom palette, and I was in a trade group, and still I'm in that trade group, and people post things that they want to get rid of, and then people trade them for it, which is really fun. And somebody sent me this palette, and I just paid shipping, and because they weren't going to use it, they built it themselves. And isn't that beautiful? It's so basic, but it looks so good. And I've used it 3 times, and I just paid the shipping on it, but I'm going to give this to a friend. It is beautiful. I don't use it. I don't ever use it. And the shades aren't magnetic, and I have other things instead. And the packaging is bulky, but I have a friend who will love it, so she's going to get that. Next, we have the Juvia's chocolates, and I really love this. I actually picked it up because of these brown shades, and just not having these anywhere else, it is possible that I now have these shades other places, and I wanted to get 15 uses because I paid 15 for it, and I've used it 4 times. It's just so dark. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's going on the chopping block. It does have 2 dark brown shades in it that are nearly identical. You can tell the top one's just a slightly more burgundy shade. The bottom is a little bit more of an ashy shade. It's really pretty, and I bought it because I was continually wanting a dark brown instead of a black to darken up looks, and I didn't have one, so I picked up this one. But then it just ended up being a problem because I never use it. So anyway, and you're going to hear me using a little bit of micellar water and a rag in the background for swatches. But then another one that I have, this one, it's the same kind of thing. This is a face and eye palette. It's the Shade and Illuminate Intensity 0.5 Rose Cashmere. I've used this 15 times. This is a star player. And the reason that this is in my 8-pan palettes, 6-pan palettes, even though it's actually a 4-pan eyeshadow with a bronzer and a highlighter, is because I actually use this as a full face palette, but I also use this as an eyeshadow palette. I'll use that peach shade as a blush. I really do like this. I put a star on it because this is a star product. I've worn the Tom Fords completely out of it. Actually, this is a really good example of something similar to the Buxom. The shades and tones, so similar here. But I don't use the Buxom, and they're both bulky, but I do use the Tom Ford, and I love the Tom Ford bronzer formula, so this is one of the few places that I have that formula. But yeah, this was expensive. I got it Uber clearance because I think it got bad reviews because it's so pale. A lot of people, I think, felt like they couldn't wear it or something, but I really, really like this one. Now let's get into what I purchased this year. There's the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about the elephant last because we can. So this, I wrote one. I have one use out of this. This is the Lethal Cosmetics Mystery 6-pan palettes that they came out with. And because I was new to the brand, was that I would pick this up, pick up the other Lethal palettes, and then combine and get rid of my 6 least favorite shades. Except these are a totally different size. I hate it when brands do this. They are like, hey, this is a totally different vibe, a totally different palette size, but we're not going to tell you that it's a different size, that it's a different everything. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's going on the chopping block. Quality's fine, but it isn't what I wanted. It's going on the chopping block. I might keep the singles that are good that I don't already have. But it's going on the chopping block, even though I just bought it. So next we have my favorite brand, Surratt. This is my absolute favorite eyeshadow brand. It's not going anywhere. This is a 6-pan palette that I made this year. And then all of the shadows, as you can see, they all fall out because they stick in. They don't magnetize in. They don't do anything smart like that. So what I do, and I haven't done this yet on this palette, is I actually cut a magnet and I put magnets on the back so that I can use these as singles and I can also use them in the palette. So I paid $86 for the 6 shades and the empty pan all together. And I've used it 7 times and I love it. And this is very annoying. Do you see how terrible that is? With the shade names, I have a label maker. And so this needs to go in my kind of fix me group where I need to use my label maker and actually make nice labels with all the shade names to go on the back of this, but I do like the formula. I'm going to keep it. Then we have the Wayne Goss palette. I got this on Mercari because I wanted to try it. It's Imperial Topaz, which is a palette that appealed to me. Wayne Goss, but his products are just fine, but not great. And I just don't know. I need to get to know it better. Like I said, I've only used it once. So, you know what? Actually, instead of the chopping block, because I've only used it one time, I think I'm going to actually put it in my getting to know you stack instead. I'm going to give it I need to be fair. I'm going to get to know it a little bit better. It's fine. It's fine. It's just not, even like when I close it, it feels kind of cheap. I mean, it sort of feels like Lise Wattier or something like that. And the prices are like Tom Ford. So not my favorite, but last and not least is the Lisa Eldridge palette. This is a luxury feeling palette. You can pop the shades out, which is genius. The label is really easy to read. I do not have Lost Summer or Ritual. I actually purchased this, and I purchased 3 singles. So I had every single finish she makes. I didn't like the other 2, so I put in this shade and this shade, the 2 on the corners. And so it's kind of a build your own palette. It's amazing. I love it. It's worth it now to me. I need to make a little sticker for it because I used it 6 times in 2022. The 3 shades that I purchased that were additional shades so that I could try every finish, I have already sold. I decided at the very beginning that I wanted a BYOP sort of a situation. She didn't offer that. And so I immediately purchased the palette. This is Cinnabar. And immediately purchased the palette and the extra shades. And it's exactly what I wanted now. And it's a really nice little palette. And let's see, Seamless Matte, and a Velvet are the 3 shades in here. I'm just going to show you. On the Velvets, they're sort of like a cream to powder. And I know some people don't like this. I love it. And this adheres really nicely. And then the Seamless Mattes, see, they have that like almost satiny look to them. They're just slightly more pigmented. I would say that the formula is almost identical, but that the Velvets are slightly less pigmented than the Seamless Mattes. But the mattes are amazing. If you want to try just one formula from Lisa Eldridge and you want to get a single, the mattes to me are where it's at. The other formulas that are in it are really nice as well, but the mattes are the best. So anyway, that is it for that section. So I have 3 going into my chopping block. 1 is a definite declutter, and then 1 I need to get to know a little bit better before considering chopping block, and then the other 6 I'm definitely keeping. So that's kind of where I'm at on all of this. When this series is done, I will do a final number recap, but I started with 84 palettes and I'm down officially down 2, but then I have that huge stack of chopping blocks. So we'll see what comes of all that. I hope you have a really great 2023, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.